Hey, it's Jordan. Emotional regulation is more important than diet and exercise. Now, I say this coming from my own personal experience. Growing up as a lifetime athlete, I was always running, always working out, always doing some kind of form of exercise, and my food was pretty on point. I eventually got more sensitive and cleaned it up, but for the most part, I ate pretty good food and had pretty consistent exercise. And I was still horribly depressed, borderline suicidal in my early 20s. And I was working out 6 or 7 times a day, just trying to get that little rush after that workout where I was so exhausted that my body just relaxed for a little bit. But this wasn't emotional regulation. It was just a band-aid to cover up this deeper wound that I needed to alchemize. And that's when I found working in with it, which is meditation, qigong, tai chi, artistic alchemy, all these different tools to find your center and actually process your emotions. And when I asked my soul, why is this the case? Why does emotional regulation trump diet and exercise? And I saw a vision of an airplane flying really low to the ground, and it was so low that it would hit the mountains and the trees and crash. Now, I don't know if you ever heard the phrase, your attitude determines your latitude. When you take a deeper attitude, when you can be in gratitude and love and friendliness and cheerfulness, when your attitude is elevated, you're not going to be hindered by all the little challenges and problems that life inevitably presents. Even if your life is perfect, you're still going to face challenges. You're still going to have to deal with being human. It's part of the experience. It's coming to my mind, I don't know if you've ever heard of Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. He was in the worst condition a human can find themselves in, starving in a torture camp where all your friends and relatives are dying. And he determined that you can take all of your freedoms away except for your attitude. Someone else can throw you in prison, starve you, kill you, do whatever to you, torture you, but still, the last human freedom that no one can ever take from you is your attitude, which is your emotional resiliency. And he found the people that were giving, even though they only got, like a slice of moldy bread every day, the people that were giving their bread away, the people that were looking after other people, the people that were still finding some type of love in that place, they lived to survive, to make it out. And the people that just couldn't handle it, which, I mean, understandable, as some tough situations, but the people that couldn't handle it, they're the ones that died and didn't make it out. And so you could say the same for your life. You're probably not in a concentration camp watching this video, but life can become overwhelming and becomes too much to handle if we don't have that latitude, that attitude of latitude, where we can move above all the hurdles, and instead of getting hit by them and crash and burn, we're so high up that we just see them and move past them pretty effortlessly. We, of course, have to feel what we have to feel. We have to accept, allow, and embrace our situation. And when we do that, we begin to alchemize. That's how we change our emotional state. When we push it away, we push away the feelings that we don't want to have. We're just delaying that change that we need to make. Because these emotions, this is the deepest level. We have our physical level, we have our mental level, and then from our heart space, that comes our emotional level. And that is the deepest core of our being outside of our soul, which is ineffable. We can't even really talk about it. We can talk around it, but you can't really talk about it. But you can talk about your emotional body, and you can feel your emotional body. So yeah, even though I was working out all the time, eating pretty healthy, I didn't know about meditation. I didn't know about working in. I didn't know about regulating my nervous system. And so I would be caught in these, just being really angry, being really upset with the world, being upset with myself and my situation, and just wasn't handling it well. I recently heard some influencer on Instagram. He makes millions of dollars a month being a bully to people, and people seem to want to work with him because he just yells at them and degrades them, and I guess they want that, whatever. It works for him. But he was saying that if he was going to a workout and he saw somebody bleeding out in front of the doorway to get into the gym, he would step over them to get to his workout. That's how important his diet and exercise was, that he would be willing to have no compassion for a person that's dying and needing help right in front of him. He's going to step over them to get to his goal. And of course, this guy has no relationships, no kids, just a complete psychopath. And if you want to get to these levels, one path is the psychopath. You can just become a psycho and become so self-centered that you have no compassion for anyone else, and your goals become priority over everything else. And I tried that for a while, and it sucks. It is not the way. I mean, everybody has a free reign to do whatever they wish. I'm not here to control anyone or tell anyone what they should and shouldn't do. But I know for me, if I saw someone bleeding out, I would definitely put my workout aside and try and help them, because that's what a human that cares would do. Someone that's full of love and compassion would take some time to forget their workout. It's not the end of the world. And another thing that's coming to mind is maybe you're in a situation where you can't really work out. Maybe your body's broken down. Maybe you're old. Maybe, like, I just had surgery at the beginning of the year. This year I couldn't work out. Like, I could do PT kind of, but my workout has been totally disrupted. And so to replace that, I have to do breath work and meditation and finding new ways to move this energy. So let's say you can't work out, and let's say you live in a food desert, because I've lived in a food desert before. I was in Erie, Pennsylvania for an internship without a car, and this was my first time going to the grocery store, and it's all processed food. The produce section was 5 feet by 5 feet. It was nothing. It was all old, gross. I'm sure it wasn't organic. I know it wasn't organic. And there was no food besides processed food. And so, of course, everyone in that area it's a challenge to find good food. If you have a car, you can go to the nice side of town and get good food, which I would do and stock up when I could. But there were times when I didn't have a car. I couldn't drive, and so I had to walk to the grocery store to get horrible food. And then if I didn't want to do that, there was a McDonald's in town, which I would get a salad, and then chicken nuggets, and try and do the best that I could. But again, that attitude comes into play. So if you don't have the ability to work out and you don't have the ability to eat healthy food, you do have the ability to be grateful for the food. You can still bless the food. You can still bless your body. Even if you can only roll around in a wheelchair, you still have control over your emotional regulation. Your attitude determines your latitude. So if you're in a situation, again, where you don't have food, you can't exercise, bless your food. Be grateful that you have anything at all. Some people, like I said earlier, are starving. Some people starve to death in this world. It is a wild place. So that is why I think emotional regulation is actually more important than diet and exercise. And while diet and exercise are foundational to what I think it takes to be healthy on a holistic level, it's also not the most important. It's actually less important than how you're feeling and how you regulate your feelings. And how you regulate your feelings, like I said, is working in. We're working into our center, into our heart space. We're taking the armor off, going into our heart so that we can open up and allow that love and that compassion and that joy to spread throughout every cell of our being, throughout our frequency, through our aura. And we could do that through emotional art, which I love to make art. And like, for example, I remember one time I was going through a breakup and I was just devastated. This was early on, before I knew about meditation even, but I would draw and paint the situation that I wanted to alchemize. I would paint us together, I would paint her, I would paint the situation I want to move into. And through this expression and painting of what I'm processing, it actually moves that energy on a subconscious level, on a deeper level. And then eventually I discovered meditation, where I spend 20 minutes of the first 20 minutes of every day, I sit in stillness and silence, and I allow my emotions and thoughts to move, and I percolate them. I allow them to bubble out of me. And this sets the tone for the day and allows these sticky subconscious thoughts that I can wake up with to move out of me, and my day just flows. I've noticed night and day difference when I start my day with meditation. My days flow. I don't have the same running into those trees, like the airplane analogy. I don't hit the trees, I don't hit the mountains. I'm higher up. I'm from a higher perspective, so I can just go past all these things that could hang me up. And then Tai Chi, Qigong, like I said, again, you're moving this Qi energy, you're moving your life force energy, playing with it. You can actually begin to sense it and moving that energy. And our body holds emotion. So when we're moving this energy around, we can move it into our body and unlock these emotions that are stored and process them that way. So those are some practical tips for emotional regulation. I offer consultations. If you're interested, check out my website, jordanjdragon.com. Otherwise, I love you. Have a great day.